Hey there guys, it's Metro, and today we are back with a real quick video on the newish, I don't know, I guess this is the first time we have all this information. A new essence that was talked about a couple weeks ago, actually, when the Classic slash BFA Summit happened. Really surprising one. I guess they're calling it Conflict and Strife. I'm a little late to this conversation. It was hard to parse all the information as separate from Classic, so maybe I missed some of these things, but yeah, it's interesting. Some of these are pretty crazy. Basically, it gives you a PvP talent. It's from PvP. I think it's like the first version of it, the most basic version of it, rank 1 of it, is literally just get a cash from PvP, which I don't think is hard to do, but regardless, I don't know much about that part. But what we are going to take a look at today is the actual, like, stuff that you get, okay? Right out of the gate, we're looking at Blood Decay, the first one, which is perfect for me. Your Death Grip has 2 charges. That's an Holy Command. I use this all the time in World PvP, World content in general. And yeah, I guess this is probably going to set a theme here. A lot of people are saying they're not really throughput. Most of them are not like special throughput buffs. They're more like utility buffs. And I think this is great. I like this a lot. I like the idea of it. And I think this is probably perfect for Blood Decay. 2 charges of Death Grip. The problem with this is, even out in World PvP, is I constantly use both charges immediately. I don't understand why. It's like there's no like global cooldown on it. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. But an ability with no global cool, I don't know what happens here. It happens all the time to me. I try to grip a mob and I grip it twice. It gets like stutter stepped or something. I don't know. So hopefully that doesn't continue to happen. But regardless, that's cool. Frost Decay deals up to 6% of the token. So that's Chill Streak. We're actually going to use this for our Naked Leveling Challenge at Death Knight that I was originally going to do, but decided against it. Deals up to 6% of the target's total health and frost damage and reduces their movement speed by 70% for 4 seconds. And then it bounces between the closest targets. So this might be good for maybe like some kind of raid encounter or multiple targets. Maybe 5-man's kiting. I don't know. Again, these are spells that nobody would have really considered beforehand. You never would have thought about them. But now they're going to be used in PvE. So 45-second CD. I think that's good. I think it's good one way or the other. Necrotic Strike, Vicious Strike that deals 30% attack power plague damage and converts 1 festering wound into a necrotic wound, absorbing up to 7% of the target's maximum health in healing received. So that's pretty useless in PvE, right? I can't really see. I mean, unless it's actually a DPS increase to use this spell, I highly doubt it. But it's basically just a kind of like a healing debuff, right? Like you might see in PvP. Don't think it has much place in PvE, but maybe there will be fights where the mobs will heal or something like that. So maybe that helps. Okay, we got Havoc. The cooldown of Metamorphosis is reduced by 2 minutes, but now lasts 15 seconds only. So that's garbage. I don't think anybody's going to take that, considering they already have an essence that is going to randomly proc meta and extend it so substantially. This is like the complete opposite of that. I don't think anybody would ever take that. Vengeance. Immolation Aura dispels all magical debuffs on you when cast. Oh boy, now that's a pretty good one, huh? Yo, that's an interesting one. I mean, you use Immolation Aura all the time, right? So maybe there's dungeons or raid fights where you constantly have things on you and you can dispel it. This is pretty crazy. I mean, some of these are interesting, but Havoc not so much. Let's take a look at Druid here. Bombkin. They got Bombkin Aura. Star Surge grants 4% spell crit chance to 8 allies. It's pretty good. I'm not going to lie about that one. Buff for the raid. I'm taking it. Bombkin, let's rock with that one. Feral, leader of the pack. While in cat form, you increase your melee range physical chance against of raid members within 40 yards by 5%. Even better. Feral's getting the buffs they need, it looks like. Leader of the pack also caused affected targets to heal themselves for 4% of their maximum health when they critically hit with a ranged or melee attack. That's pretty crazy too, to be honest. That might turn Feral around. Honestly, that's the utility they need right there, and I don't know what other options you're going to see being taken for Feral, because obviously I don't play them or have any respect for them in any way. But this is crazy. This is crazy. That's a big group buff, man. I'm liking this. I'm really liking this. Anyway, Guardian, Sharpened Claws. Maul increases the damage done by your swipe and thrash by 25% for 6 seconds. Another DPS buff for Guardian. There's some good traits out there for tanks, so I don't know about this one, but yeah, you know, these are really cool. I really like this idea. And don't forget, in the future, apparently there's going to be 2 major talents or major traits that you're going to be able to take. So this is nice. And this is a major trait, obviously, right? I don't actually know what the minor trait does. I should probably look into that. But either way, this is the major trait element of it, right? So, okay, Restoration, Overgrowth. Instantly applies Life Bloom, Rejuvenation, Wild Growth, and Regrowth Heal over time effect to the target. 45-second CD. I mean, how is that not just the best one? I can't imagine what the other healer ones are, but that's crazy. That's crazy. 30% of base mana, though? Maybe that's a lot of mana. I don't know. That is a lot of things to apply. No, but can you apply a second Life Bloom? It's a question. What happens if you already have 2 Rejus on it? Does it apply a third? Questions like that we need answers to. Oh, I'm sure you have PvPers out there already know. Okay, Beast Mastery. Survival Tactics. Feign Death removes all harmful magic. Oh, it's the same for all 3. Is that serious? Well, basically turns Feign Death into a massive, massive damage reduction. 99%. So that's going to be pretty overpowered for raids. Think about, you know, cheesing mechanics, 99% reduction for 1.5 seconds. It's kind of long, too. I mean, 1.5 second small window, it sounds like. But if you use it well, that's a long window. But it's for the same for all 3. Kind of boring, but hey, whatever. Arcane Mage. Arcane Empowerment, clear casting can now stack 2 additional times and increases the damage of arcane missiles by 5%. Clear casting no longer reduces the mana cost of Arcane Explosion. So I don't know anything about Arcane Mage for sure, but that sounds like a DPS buff. Maybe I'm wrong. Seems like an AoE nerf because I don't know how big the mana cost of Arcane Explosion is. I don't know, but there's some inconsistencies with some of these, it seems. Frozen Orbs damage is Frost Mage now. Frozen Orbs damage is increased by 10% and is now castable at a location. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's just a passive? That's interesting, huh? So one of the big things, if you play Frost Mage in the passive, the orb kind of shoots out and it kind of gets stuck on things or goes too far. So that's interesting. 10% buff to Frozen Orb. I don't know if that's big or not. I don't know. Flame Cannon for fire. After standing still in combat for 2 seconds, your maximum health increased by 3%, damage done increased by 3%, and the range of your fire spells is increased by 3 yards. Effect stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 5 seconds. That's it. Wait, what? Only 5 seconds. Does that stack up to 5 times too? That's interesting. I mean, that's probably the biggest buff, right? If it stacks up 15% damage done, that's pretty nuts. It's pretty good. Let's take a look at Monk. Hot Tub. Or Hot Trub, sorry. Beta me to think of that. Purifying Brew deals 30% of your purified stagger damage. That's great. Isn't that just great? Not grape, but great? That seems great. That seems ridiculous. Anyway, that's going to be probably crazy. Mistweaver, Way of the Crane. Increases your physical damage by 25%. What? You remove and become immune to all snare and root effects, and you heal up to 3 nearest allies for 150% of all damage done. Lasts 15 seconds. So it's like, it's a 1-minute CD though. Interesting. So it's kind of like the old days with Monk healing. Physical damage. That's great. That seems like that might be good too. It's only a 1-minute CD, but it only lasts for 15 seconds. I mean, you're going to get some good value out of that. Surely spinning serpent kick or spinning marmot punch, whatever it's called, that's physical damage, right? Or is that nature damage or something? If that's the case, they might become really good AoE healers, really good AoE damage healers all of a sudden with this. Okay, Winwaker. Like the Zelda game, right? Reverse Harm. Heals a friendly target for 8% of their maximum health. Cause 100% of the amount healed to be instantly dealt to the nearest enemy. Wow, that's interesting. So a bit of a utility buff for Windwalker. Probably nobody going to use that. But that's cool. That seems interesting. Let's take a look at Paladin. Steed of Glory. Protection. Your Divine Steed lasts for an additional 2 seconds. While active, you become immune to movement impairing. And you knock back enemies that you move through. I remember this town. I actually took this for leveling. Not impressed by it, frankly. Didn't like it. Constantly, you know, I'm just trying to move faster and it's constantly knocking mobs all around. Didn't like that. If you could not have that, if it just lasts for an additional 2 seconds, that'd probably be great. But you got to use this in combat. You don't want to be knocking mobs all around, so I don't know about that one. Unbound Freedom. Blessing of Freedom also increases movement speed by 30%. Some nice movement buffs for Paladin, seems like. I like that. I mean, obviously, this is the problem, right? You got one that's increasing your movement speed by 30%. Then you got a Fire Mage one that's increasing your DPS by 15. So that's a big difference there. But it's interesting. I like the idea, at least on paper. Holy. Divine Favor. Your next Holy Light or Flashlight is increased by 100%. Cost no mana and is unable to be interrupted. 25-second CD. Wow. That's a big buff for Holy, isn't it? It's interesting. I mean, Divine Favor, that was an old school spell. Used to be a 3-minute CD, I think. Give an instant crit to any of these spells. Pretty interesting stuff there. I don't know how it's going to work out. It's quite unique. All right, let's take out Priest. We got Dick's Priest. Premonition. Heals nearby allies within 20 yards for a bunch of spell power damage, whatever. And applies Atonement to yourself. Deals shadow damage to yourself for each atonement you have active and increases their duration by 5 seconds. Depends on how much it heals for, I guess. But it means you're going to take a bunch of damage. So I don't know. That's an odd one. Rapid Mending for Holy. Toke's the only person who plays Holy, so who even cares? Anyway, Prayer of Mending is now instant cast, and its jump range is increased by 10 yards. Instant cast Prayer Mending. That's just passive. Wow. That seems great. That seems quite good. Okay, Void Origins. Void Eruption is now instant cast. Too bad they couldn't give them some utility, huh? Oh my god, this class. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's probably good. Void Eruption is a big damage spell, right? I don't know. All right, let's take a look at Rouge. Smoke Bomb. You gotta be kidding me. Wow. Yo, is that gonna just be overpowered? All 3 rogue specs get it. Is that just gonna be overpowered in PvE? How does that work? Enemies are unable to target into or out of the Smoke Bomb. What the hell? It's not what it used to be. Smoke Bomb and Mop used to be a big defensive CD. Not Smoke Bomb anymore, but this seems like it might be even more strong. It's kind of like a reverse ring. It's kind of like a reverse ring of peace, isn't it? You put it down, the mobs have to run into it. You run out of it, they have to run out of it. Interesting. Very unique. So rogue, all 3 of those are rogue. Shaman. Oh, Lightning Lasso. This is probably one of my favorite PvP talents. Grips the target in lightning, stunning the target and dealing 40% of the target's maximum health and nature damage over 5 seconds. I can't imagine. That's not going to happen, right? Obviously, actually it says for talents which deal % health damage, the damage is capped at your maximum health. Okay. So it's not going to be that good damage-wise. But it's a big stun, and you can move while it's channeling. It's probably going to be overwhelming or underwhelming in PvE because it's only going to do like 500k damage max or whatever we're going to have at this point. But yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. I like the idea because it's a single target stun, which is really nice for Ellie. Enhancement. Ride the Lightning. Great song. If there are more than 2 enemies within 8 yards when you cast Storm Strike, you also cast a Chain Lightning on the target. Wow. Otherwise, you conjure Bolts of Lightning to up to 2 of the furthest enemies within 40 yards. That's interesting. So that's going to be great for PvE for like 5-mans. Giving him a nice PvE, kind of like an AoE buff. It's not bad. Restoration. Ancestral Gift. You become immune to silence or interrupt effects. That's terrible. That's the worst one. Nope, nothing gets interrupted or silenced in raids, right? Or 5-mans especially. Maybe there's like one situation, a dungeon max, right? That's terrible. That's the worst one. It's got to be. Warlock. Your unstable affliction deals the same damage as normal, but its duration is increased by 6 seconds. I don't know. Is that a buff? Why would you... So it's just going to do less damage per tick, but it lasts longer. Is that a good thing? I don't know about that. I don't think so. Anyway, Nether Ward. Surrounds the caster with a shield that lasts 3 seconds. What? No. They get Spell Reflect? No. Dude, that's like... Oh, that might be the best one. They get Spell Reflect? Demon Armor. Protects the caster, increasing maximum health by 10 seconds. And increases... Or by 10%. And increases armor by 150. That's just a passive. It's an instant. It's not a passive, but it's up 100% of the time. Is that how that works? A 10% health buff and 150% armor. Not going to be great in PvE. Not a lot of physical direct damage, but interesting. This one is crazy, though. What the actual hell? 45-second Spell Reflect for a fucking Warlock. I mean, that could be huge, right? I wonder if it reflects dots and stuff. All right, arms. When activated, your next Mortal Strike will deal 15% increased damage, reduce healing taken by 50%. Again, the healing taken one, not liking that. Doesn't seem useful in 5-mans and stuff. But Mortal Strike increased 15% damage. I mean, what's the CD on this? 25-second CD. That's a huge buff, isn't it? That seems like a big buff. We got Battle Trance. Look at this, of course. I can't even not look at this. Thunderstruck. Thunderclap roots all targets for 1 second. Yeah, that's what they need. More thunderclap buffs. Anyway, battle trance. You go into a trance, causing you to regenerate 3% of your health and generate 5 rage every 3 seconds for 18 seconds after using Raging Blow twice in a row on a target. Using Raging Blow on a new target will cancel this effect. Defensive buff, I suppose? Not great. Doesn't seem great. Very odd. Some of these are very odd, and I don't know if they're going to stay this way. But I have to say that this is a very nice idea. I really like this idea, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing if that idea works out. I'm extremely optimistic about this. This is why I'm so excited about the Essence system, because it has such high potential. This is, you know, among the height of the potential. Obviously, I'm extremely excited about the Death Knight one. I don't, you know, this is going to be so nice for 5-mans, I'm telling you. As long as I can figure out why sometimes I use Death Grip and it happens twice in a row by accident. I don't know if there's something wrong with my mouse, something wrong with the global, I don't know. But as long as that doesn't continue and I don't waste both charges every time I use the spell, I'm going to be very excited about this. And what else? What was the other crazy one? Oh yeah, this one, Hot Trub. This seems like this is going to be a massive offensive buff. 30% of your purified stagger damage. I mean, that's a lot of damage that you're doing that. You're doing that often, too. That's going to be like, they're going to become like the best. I might have to level up Brewmaster. What the hell? And then the Druid one. These are crazy, dude. These are nuts, dude. This is so nice. Star Surge grants 4% spell critical strike to allies, to 8 allies. Not going to be great for 5. Obviously, it's only going to be 4. I guess it could go you, too, right? But it stacks up to 3 times. I don't know, 18 seconds. I don't know how many times you Star Surge in an 18-second window. Hopefully more than once. But anyway, I think Feral gets the best one. I think they do. Feral gets the best one, I think. This is going to be the utility Feral needs, finally. So, hey, keep that up, man. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. So let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, see you guys in the next one.